There's honestly no better place than here, Goldsboro Books in the lanes in Brighton, for me to start talking about my new novel, City on Fire. I mean, look around, it's a goldmine of first editions from years gone by to new releases. Every genre is here, and you'll find authors that you'll be very familiar with and some you'll never heard of. I defy any of you to come into this shop and not walk out with a novel that you know you're going to love. There's honestly no better place to set a crime novel than Brighton. It's a city of contrast. You've got huge wealth and devastating deprivation. I was born and brought up in the area. I worked most of my police career in Brighton, and honestly it's such a pick and mix of crime and social issues. It's just a wonderful place for a variety of stories and characters to really come alive. So many of the great novels around Brighton feature this place, the Palace Pier, and the best of all, Brighton Rock by Graham Greene, absolutely is built around this place. We've got Hale's Death, we've got Pinky recording that notorious gramophone record. Peter James includes it in his books, even I include them in my books. You think of Brighton, you think of the Palace Pier, you think of great novels. Devil's Dyke, one of my go-to places in all my books. I think every book I've written has got a scene in Devil's Dyke, and City on Fire is no exception. In fact, there's two scenes in City on Fire. I'm not going to tell you what they are because I want you to read the book. But there's something about this stunning area of outstanding natural beauty which is in deep contrast to the hustle and bustle of the Brighton most people know, that lends itself to these very atmospheric scenes that draw out the emotion in Joe and other people in City on Fire. I love coming up to Devil's Dyke. It's such a wonderful place, this sort of windswept hilltop landscape, to just clear your head when you're a writer. Sometimes you just need some space, and this is ideal. And people have been coming here for thousands of years. And legend has it that the devil actually dug the dyke himself to flood the Weald with seawater. So what a great story to inspire me to write my stories. So this is what I do. I come up here and then I go back and decide what carnage I'm going to put Joe Howe through next. Here we are at the American Express Stadium, home of Brighton Hove Albion, and definitely one of my happy places. I remember coming here when it was being built, when it was just rubble and cranes, and trying to envisage what it would be like, and this is what it's become. It's just an amazing sort of metaphor really for the city. It's beautiful, it's locally owned, it's got a real community spirit, and of course Brighton are doing quite well at the moment. It's a long way from the old Goldston ground where I used to be stood on a box that my dad had made, hoping that I wouldn't fall over on the old East Stand. But this is a place I love, and certainly somewhere for the city to be proud of. This is the 1901 Club Hospitality Suite at the Amex Stadium, and it's where one of the most significant scenes starts, right here during a football match. I'm not going to tell you any more about that because hopefully when you read it, it'll take your breath away. But there was a reason I wanted to set it here, and that's because the Amex Stadium is such a place of joy and energy and passion and emotion, and I wanted something to start here that emulates that but ends up in something completely different. Well, this is Oriental Place, and back in my policing day, in the shadow of these once grand Regency buildings, which have now worn the test of time, drug users used to come and they used to buy their gear off dealers who would turn up here and serve them. And I needed a street like this to set quite a gruesome scene, if I'm honest. A scene that really sets Joe on an urgent path to try and rid Brighton of its drug issues, its drug problems that have been defining it for years.